Our next guest here on the show, an 11-year Major League Baseball veteran, had a wonderful career. Also won a Gold Glove as well. And now he's a member of the Atlanta Braves television broadcast team. And we like this guy because he is dipping his toe into making beer. And we like that around here. Joining us on the program, Jeff Francoeur. Jeff, good morning. How you doing?
Good, Dad. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks so much for joining us. How was your Memorial Day weekend?
Oh, awesome. Let's see. Did the game in St. Louis Friday night, and then there were two national broadcasts Saturday and Sunday, and off day yesterday. So we took the kids to the lake with some friends for 3 days, and so it was really good.
That's great. Any fishing you get in, or just some beers and burgers on the grill outside the lake?
No, beers and burgers, and then at night we did some bow fishing. You ever done that?
No. Tell me about this.
Oh, it's just you go out on like buddy's got a duck boat, and he's got those LED lights, and you go around the coves at night, and you get those big old carp, 8 to 10 pounds, just sitting there, and just like a bow and arrow, man. You shoot it, and it reels back. It's awesome.
Now, is that harder than normal fishing?
Well, yeah, it's a little more convenient because I think you can kind of control it. You know,
Yeah.
You're shooting at them.
Right,
Obviously,
right.
I'm not much of a hunter, so I'm not a great shot, but even I hit some of those.
Can you eat that carp, or are those carp too big to eat?
Yeah, they're not great tasting. People
Yeah.
will eat them, but I think I'll pass on that and wait and have some better fish for the carp.
So what do you do with a 10-pound carp that you shoot with a bow?
You throw it right back in the water, and majority of them die, and then the turtles or whatever apparently snatch them up.
Oh, so you're feeding the turtles in the lake.
It's all new to me. I've only done it for 2 years. Remember Luke Hochaver, who used to pitch with the Royals in the World Series?
Yeah.
Went up to his lake house, so he's been doing it for years.
Interesting. Okay. You see, you learn something new from Jeff Francoeur every single day.
I took some beers on the boat and bow fished.
Okay. All right. Jeff Francoeur joins us this morning on the show. You were always known for your amazing arm in the outfield. Did you see Cody Bellinger's 2 throws yesterday against the Mets?
Oh, I did. And trust me, I was getting texts from a lot of people to tell me to go see it. And I saw the second one live. I saw the first one tape. But, I mean, that guy's having an incredible season.
Right.
I mean, he really is. Like, if you go look at the numbers, and I'm not talking just from an offensive standpoint, but I think what I love watching him play is how good he is defensively. There's not many people that have that kind of arm and can play, honestly, an above-average center field. So it's been so much fun watching him.
Did you ever have any workouts, exercises, drills that you would do to strengthen your throwing arm?
You know what's funny is back in high school I threw a lot, long toss, all that. And even during the season, like I remember, Kansas City, myself, Alex Gordon, we go out and long toss 3 days a week. I'm talking just airing it out. But I will say this, that I never threw during the off season. I always took the whole off season off, rested my arm up, got to camp the first week and a half of camp, I'd throw, my arm would feel like it was going to fall off, and then all of a sudden after about 10 days it felt good and I just went. But I honestly think a lot of time you can strengthen your arm a little bit, but I also think it's one of those things you either got a pretty decent arm or you don't. You can strengthen it some, but it's tough to really do it big time. The one thing I like watching Cody Bellinger, because I was the same way, took a lot of pride in being accurate, though. I think that's where some people get up, throw it, and no idea where it's going. That was one thing I was always able to do was be very accurate, so it makes you even look like you have a better arm.
Jeff Francoeur, Braves television analyst, joins us this morning here on the show. So I don't know if a lot of people realize that you were a 4-star athlete recruit in football coming out of high school, and you were recruited heavily by Clemson, and you had a scholarship offer there, wide receiver, defensive back as well. How seriously did you consider going to Clemson to play?
Well, it's 3 days away. When I finally signed with the Braves, I was 3 days away from going to 2-a-days to camp, and I felt like at this point I was going to do baseball and sign with them. But it's tough because football in Georgia is so big. There's some states where baseball had always been my number one love, but when all of a sudden you start, getting visits from, Bobby Bowden, Tommy Bowden, all these guys to your house and the school, and it gets a little overwhelming. But, at the end of the day, I'm glad I chose what I did because baseball's always been my first love. But I'll tell you this, I still am a huge Clemson fan and been to a couple of their national championships. And, the way they're rolling right now, they might have a couple more here.
Can you keep up with Dabo? I mean, a night after they win the national championship game, Dabo, who normally at a 10 energy-wise must be at like a 110.
I'll tell you what, man, he is awesome, and we keep up. I shoot him a text every once in a while. I'm actually going to go to the game in September when Texas A&M comes to Clemson, which should be a lot of fun. Night game, I'm sure, but it really is awesome watching what he's done. And, of course, now his new 10-year deal, I'm like, he deserves it, And when people talk about, are you scared about him going to Bama? I'm like, darn right I am.
Yeah.
Going to Bama.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. He's amazing.
Why wouldn't we?
He's amazing. Now, let me ask you, so could you understand where Kyler Murray was coming from in terms of having a baseball tracked and having the A's kind of fawn over him, but ultimately being wooed over to football because of some of the things that you just mentioned?
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, Kyler Murray, he was a football, like, if you're going to be a first-round pick in the draft as an NFL player, it's tough to turn that down. And, don't get me wrong, he was a good baseball player, but he really only had 1 year where he really did something. And I'm not saying he couldn't have, because we all know how good of an athlete he was. But how many times have we seen a guy that was a really, really good athlete, not really make it in baseball or not develop like they should have? And that was my point with Kyler Murray. I didn't think it was a slam dunk in baseball. I thought he was going to have to develop. He was going to have to learn how to hit, continue to hit and get better. Whereas in football, I felt like he had really done a lot of those things in college that was going to enable him to be a first-round pick. So, listen, he could have turned out to be a heck of a baseball player. But I'll tell you this, I think he had a much better chance between you and I of being a better football player than he did baseball.
Jeff Francoeur joins us, 11-year MLB veteran, now a Braves television analyst, and he's a beer maker. He has teamed up with Terrapin Beer to launch Frenchie's Blues, which is a German wheat beer, slight blueberry on the nose, apparently. Frenchie's Blues will be available starting today at SunTrust Park, home of the Atlanta Braves. So how'd you get into beer making?
Well, so Terrapin is part of the Coors family, is a huge local. They at SunTrust Park, they have their own brewing tap room.
Yeah.
It's a Terrapin tap room. They're also based out of Athens, which, my wife went to University of Georgia, all my buddies. So just needless to say, I've been drinking Terrapin for a long time
Right.
at Georgia games.
Right.
And so we got, the Chipper made one last year, and we got talking, and a lot of people don't know this, but I own a 200-acre blueberry farm in South Georgia.
No way.
And I do, with my father-in-law and another guy named Win Morgan, who is a huge just blueberry expert, has done blueberry farms for Falls Creek and different stuff. So I've owned this blueberry farm for about 4 years now, and now we're a full-grown farm now. We've done over 1 million pounds of blueberries this year. We just got done with harvest, but we had talked to them about doing a beer, and we said, what better than doing blueberries? So we did a blueberry ale, which the blueberries are from my farm down in South Georgia.
Cool.
And the brew team put it together. They've mixed it. They've done the graphics are unbelievable. The beer can, it's got a baseball bat with a microphone, for my announcing now with Frenchie's Blues. And I can't wait, man. We're gonna introduce the beer tonight, and then Thursday night the Braves they play the Nats tonight and tomorrow night. And then they're off Thursday night. We're going to have a huge launch party at the Terrapin Tap Room at SunTrust Park. So it's got 5% alcohol, which I wanted because Chipper's beer last year had 4.99% alcohol. So I said I wanted 0.1 more alcohol than Chipper. So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to get some crap from him on that. But it's a lot of fun, man. It's something you get out, that you don't really think about, and all of a sudden something happens like this. And I love beer, and if you go to this, it's so cool because it's going to be more, it's more of a summer beer. It's going to be a blueberry ale. There's not a whole lot of these, and so I thought, what better story between, having a beer there. I grew up in Atlanta, been there my whole life, but then also being able to, have a blueberry summer beer. I thought, why not?
That sounds amazing. I love that. And since you're now king of the blueberries, you know how a blueberry beer is supposed to taste. It can't be overwhelming. It can't be too sweet. It's just got to be a little bit of a tinge, the right tinge. I'm sure you tasted a lot of blueberry beer to get to this point.
Oh, yeah. And, you sit there and you think about it, a lot of times when you I remember when they tell me how many blueberries they needed, I thought they'd need a lot more. And same kind of deal. They were saying exactly what you said. It can only be a 10. It doesn't need to overwhelm. It needs to be a small piece of taste. And I'll tell you what, I think fans are going to love it. I think it's going to be a cool little hit. And like I said, especially during the summer, it's getting hot. It's going to be 93 degrees tonight. So, I think to be able to have kind of a lighter beer that's maybe more refreshing and easier to drink, should be a lot of fun. But I can't wait. I'm doing this whole week at the stadium game. So, maybe I'm even going to see if Fox will let me drink beer on the air. I don't know
that sounds phenomenal.
Or if it can be under the table, but that's how it should be.
Yeah, I would say they should be able to hook you up there. I mean, just tell them if not, you're going to crossbow them like a carp. So that's coming up tonight, SunTrust Park. You can get Frenchie's Blues, home of the Braves, Jeff Francoeur's new blueberry German wheat beer, which is very, very cool. This was a lot of fun, my man. Thanks so much for doing it. Hopefully we can catch up again later on in the summer, hear how the beer's going.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it, DA. Take it easy, bud.
You got it.